We are finally back, and I am so excited to share this episode with you. I believe it's been about 6 months since we recorded it, which is crazy that we're just getting to it now. But so much has happened within that time frame. It's really cool. And I kept pushing this off because I wanted to make sure once I started the video aspect that I would be able to keep up with it and have the capacity to do so. And it wasn't until now. So it always works out and it's all in God's timing. But to sum it up, I've really dove into a lot of different ministry work, which has been great, including putting together a women's event with our girl group. And update, I wrote my first devotional book. She's an author now, which is crazy. It's cool because the closer and closer you start to get to Jesus, you just start doing things that you didn't think you were capable of. It's been a really cool journey. And if you would like a copy of it, I am working to have them available online as well. So stay tuned and get connected on social media, and I will absolutely keep you guys posted. But yeah, thank you for being here, and I hope you enjoy today's episode. Sweating. Do you want to
Do you want me to say anything else?
if you want to?
Yeah, Lord, just help us.
Gina's not looking at me right now because I'm so awkward and I can't do this.
Yes, you can. Cut it out. And see.
Welcome, friends. I'm your host, Kels, and today is a special day because not only is this the first episode that we are video recording, this is a full circle moment, and we are bringing back a guest that you guys have already met. My girl G
Yay!
is back with us, and we're going to get to know her a little bit more, and I'm very excited. And like I said, it's a full circle moment because I was on her podcast.
Yes. I was like, where's she going with this?
Wasn't it like 2 years ago?
It was a while ago, and we were just as awkward then.
Well, yeah. No,
We
actually,
sat down at that little table over there. I don't know why we did that. We sat on the floor, and
I actually quite liked
but
it.
it was cute.
I felt a little cozier
It was
than
cute.
yeah, it was
Your
very
hair
cute.
long.
It was so long.
That was a while ago.
It was,
Full
but
circle moment.
I remember, like, I'm awkward right now, but I don't know if you remember, I couldn't speak.
Yeah,
I was like this.
We were both. It was bad.
Shaking.
The Lord has done a good work in us.
He truly has.
Yeah.
So I feel like the last episode you were on, we really didn't get to fully know G. So kind of give us like, it can still be short, like 30 seconds, just catching us up from how you got to where you are now type of thing.
Okay. Yeah, I won't make it super long, I guess, but I don't know if we talked about this in the last one, probably not. Kels and I know each other from middle school, 8th grade.
Yeah.
We went to performing arts school where we both majored in dance, and we graduated from school together. We actually ended up as college roommates.
Well.
But I had a really bad boyfriend that I thought was the love of my life, okay? And I was sad, and I went home every weekend, and so I transferred. I left the school, and I left her alone.
She did. Okay. She was the reason why I went to this school.
That's also true.
She convinced me. She said, "You have to come. It'll be so cute.
I did do that.
We'll be roommates. It'll be the best time ever." And I was like,
It was cute for a bit.
Okay.
It was. And I'm sad because that's a whole episode in itself, talking about, like, what you could tell your younger self anything, right? Because I just was telling someone this in one of my fitness classes, like, you woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? Like, God works in different ways, and I ended up going to a different school, and I had plenty of fun there too, but, like, goodness, if you could just shake that little version of you, like, I mean, you just don't know what you don't know, right?
Yeah.
And, like, grateful for it. It taught me a lot, but it was a good school, and we would have had a great time, but, it is what it is. So, yeah, Kelsey and I have been friends a long time, so we've been walking this walk together and, like, equally seeing each other, like, mature. And I remember when she first moved back, we met at a coffee shop, and again, we were just like catching up on everything. So it was like a couple years
in Barnes and
ago.
Noble.
No, this was when we met in the Strip at
Oh,
why can't I think of the name of it?
Defer.
Defer.
Mhm.
Yes. And I remember you
Shameless
saying,
plug. Sorry, I
Shameless plug, yes.
love that coffee shop. If you're ever in Pittsburgh, go to the Strip. Go to Defer.
Yeah, it is good. It is good. And I remember you were telling me you got this apartment, and that was a testimony. And it was just really cool because I knew we would be friends, but it just really, like, I think that fall maybe I did a Bible study, and I think that's when you came to it, and that's when we really got plugged into like our little girl group that we have now, which is just like really awesome.
Such a blessing.
Yeah, but sorry, I made that really a long intro, but about me, we grew up dancing together. I danced for a little post-college. I've loved the Lord really my whole life. I would say I grew up in church, like a non-denominational church, but it really wasn't until I'd say the last couple years, kind of like with you, like all of our like girlfriends are like really starting to elevate. My husband is in ministry, and that he just, I mean, you guys, if you've listened to the other episode, like he just got saved like 3 years ago. So it's been really cool. Like definitely his faith walk has strengthened mine, which is how I do believe God intended and designed marriage to be, which is awesome. And so, yeah, we just just started our own ministry, and it's called Go Now Ministries. And the mission really is like, it says in Matthew 18, why am I blanking? What is it? Seek first the kingdom of heaven.
Oh, Matthew 6:33. I only know that
No,
because
I'm not thinking of that one. I'm sorry.
That's the one you said.
It is.
Oh.
Go and make disciples.
That one
Let's
look it up.
28:19. Matthew 28:19. I'm here now.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
I mean, see, this just goes to show, like, I'm not going to edit that out because
we're elevating and growing.
We are growing.
But yes. So in Matthew 28:19, per my last email, talks about going into the world and making disciples of all nations, right? And so the idea behind the heart behind Go Now is that if God tells you to do something, you need to go and go now, right? Because delayed obedience is disobedience. So that's where we are. So outside of that, I am recently married. I have a stepson who'll be 3. He's truly, I mean, I really hit the jackpot. Like, I really did. And that's a cool story too that we can talk about in another episode. But I love all things fitness, and the Lord has opened a door for me to like continue into that in a bigger role. Praise God. And so that's like what I just turned 30 in June. And so I feel like this year especially has really like doors have kind of like finally starting to open up. It was a lot of like grinding, and I still expect to continue to do that. But I definitely think like, this is the most mature I've personally felt. I mean, I guess you should feel more mature with age, but like 30 definitely feels different.
It does.
Would you agree? Like it definitely, it's like, put some hair on your chest. I don't know. I turned 30 and I was like, you know what? I'm going to own it. I like it.
Yeah. I've been telling people, well, at least in the past year, that the 30s is where it's at. Like, I feel like it really, truly is.
I do
like,
agree.
people say your 20s, you know, they go to the college, the past. I'm like, this is where it's at. Like, this is where it starts for me.
I think what's cool, too, about 30, or I guess what I was most fearful of was that, especially as women, like we turn 30 and suddenly this time clock starts, right? Whether that's you're waiting for a husband, or you're wanting children, or you're in your career and you're not sure. Like, I think it's this very unnecessary thing we do where we're like, it has to be figured out by 30.
Right.
And it's just like so not true. And I think in this generation more than ever, especially with like social media and being able to like see other people's lives, like especially on TikTok for me, I love TikTok because I think people are just way more real about like life, and it's lighthearted, and you're like, yo, I can relate to that.
Yes.
Like how you're, you know, like people joke about their debt, people joke about, and I'm not saying it's funny, but like people are more real about like their struggles, and I think it's like, oh wait, we're all truly just grown children trying to like navigate this and figure it out. So I think that's been the most freeing realization of 30 for me. It's like it does come with a maturity for sure, but in the same breath I'm like, but it's also okay that I don't, like, by no means do we have it all figured out. And like, when do you ever,
right,
you know?
Truly. Yeah, and I feel like people get caught up on that. You know, like, I mean, I feel like society doesn't help us on that. But we get so caught up. We're like, we feel like we have to have it all figured out. But that's what your entire life is for. Some people start their careers when they're like 70. You know what I mean? So just saying. And I actually love this because I keep doing this and I never ask what people are going to talk about. But it's quite fun for me. So what do you got for us today? What's the tea? What's the story?
Oh my gosh, Kels. This is a really intricate story with a lot of detail that I truly just can't get into all of it. But so when I was 24, I was engaged, and I was like fully, again, you guys, I said, I've always loved the Lord, but by no means was I always following the Lord, right? Like, there was a lot of just like disobedience and a lot of like, my heart just wasn't aligned, right? Like, my heart posture was like, I called myself Christian. I was very lukewarm. So I was living with a man out of wedlock, but we were engaged, and I was basically just like forming my life to whatever basically he wanted it to be. Like, I was very submissive and very like, you can call all the shots. Like, it was a relationship that was obviously not rooted in the right things, and there was a lot of like an anxious attachment style that I was dealing with, and so I really just would have done quite literally whatever this man asked of me, and that's like my fault. I take full ownership of that I was just like so young, and I was so caught up in the chase, like wanting him to want me. So it was like, you truly, like, when I say lost in the sauce, like, that's what my life looked like for like 5 years in my 20s. We met when I was freshly 21, so I was just like in such I'm like, you're so young still at that point.
I didn't realize it was whenever you were 21.
Yeah, it was literally my 21st birthday, like that weekend.
I thought it was a little bit later into that.
No.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a long time, and I'd say this actually builds context to the story, but for like the first 2 years, it was like this goose chase of like, and if any of you guys have ever struggled with a quote unquote situationship, like, that's exactly what this was. Like, he liked me, but he didn't want to date me, right? And then my mind became so obsessed with him wanting me, like him liking me. I'll do whatever will make him like me, which might sound pitiful to say out loud, but that's truly where my mind was. Like, I got so lost, like, truly, the music I liked, the clothes I wore, where I hung out, all of that turned into what he wanted. The engagement was not built on like godly principles whatsoever. And so, yeah, I remember we were engaged at that point for about a year, and I was really struggling. This was like right after coming out of dancing professionally, and so I was really struggling with some mental health things. And it was the first time in my life I experienced like panic disorder, like debilitating anxiety attacks, and like just experimenting with antidepressants and just going down this road that was so like foreign to me. And I remember at that time, I don't remember exactly every detail, but really starting to, I think it was the first time as an adult, I understood that I was the only one who could strengthen my relationship with Christ. Like, growing up, I was always in church because my parents kind of led the way there. But as an adult, you're like, wait a minute, I have a role to play in this. And I was so down bad, and sometimes God allows us to get to that point, right? Where I was just like, okay, I can't do this on my own. And so I really started like falling in love with Jesus again. It was really like quite special. As bad of a time that was, it was also a really special time because I felt so close to the Lord. And what do they say? The Bible says Jesus is close to the brokenhearted. So I think that I was so brokenhearted, not even realizing how bad it really was. So anyway, say all that to say, I was going to church like twice a week. I was loving, reading my word and like reading all these different books. And I remember approaching my ex and just, really sharing my heart about like being in church together, because that really was like a true desire of mine.
Yeah.
Like, I always wanted a godly marriage, right? Like, I mean, how don't you if you grew up in church? Like, I knew that's how God designed it, and I wanted to share that with somebody. And none of this, by the way, story that I'm sharing is to like diss the other person. It's like my journey, my story of like what God did in my life, right? And this is just like a part of it.
Yeah.
But I remember approaching that situation with like, hey, like I was just thinking one week we could go to my church, and then, you know, he was raised Catholic, so like the next week we can go to yours, but he wasn't really like practicing, and I just wanted God in our lives, period. And I remember that being a very, very not great big argument, and feeling so defeated, and just like, again, I was so committed to the bit of like being with this person that not being together wasn't an option. I was like not that strong in my faith yet.
Yeah.
So like I just accepted. I remember looking at a couple in church and literally weeping because I just accepted I would never have that. Like I'm never going to have a partner that's going to share in this with me, which is so crazy to think about now. You know?
Oh, yeah.
It's really crazy.
It really took a turn.
It really takes a turn. So I'll quicken this up. So that's where I was, no good. But other than that, in my delusion, I still felt like we had a healthy relationship. And I remember I was listening to Stephen Furtick a lot at that time. And I was at a stop sign. I remember the stop sign. And the podcast, his sermon was called Trapped in Transition. This would have been like 2019. And praying at this stop sign and asking the Lord, it was like a true download from heaven, like a revelation hit me that it was like, my life is not my own, and I want God to really use my life, whatever that looks like. And I remember asking him that, still not understanding.
I don't remember this part of it.
No?
Like you told me this story.
Yeah.
But I don't remember that little bit.
Yeah, and I actually,
That's so
it's real because
cool.
I remember that being confused when I prayed it.
Yeah.
But I know that like it was from the Lord because, like I said, it was like this download that I was just like, oh. And I just asked the Lord, and I wasn't even thinking about my relationship. Like I said,
Right.
I actually thought it was a healthy relationship. It was like more my career, I think I was talking about. And, you know, I was being very small-minded, but I did. I asked the Lord, I was like, whatever you want to do with my life, I'm yours, right? Not knowing, and guys, be careful sometimes when you pray these prayers.
Careful what you pray.
Right.
You'll get your answer.
Facts. And that's exactly what happened. Like 2 days later, I'm not being dramatic, everything fell apart, in quotes, you know? And the relationship ended very abruptly, and it ended in a lot of betrayal and a lot of like icky feelings and a lot of just like people you thought were your friends and they weren't, like just a lot of betrayal. And thinking like, okay, God, surely that's not what I was thinking of when I prayed that prayer. It was like my relationship. But through that entire breakup, which was devastating, I mean, we were halfway planned through a wedding and a wedding dress.
You thought you were going to marry the man.
This was it, right?
Yeah.
Suddenly, within a week of this prayer, living back in my parents' house with my puppy, like that we had just got together. Like, Vicky, my dog was so small. It was so sad.
We love Mr. Big.
We do. He's gotten me through so much, goodness gracious. And yeah, just so literally lost. And I read a book during that time, and it was called Forgiving What You Can't Forget by Lisa Terrakarst. And I still recommend it to people today. Phenomenal read, because I just had so much anger and like unforgiveness. I mean, naturally, it was like really fresh. But the biggest thing is through that entire process, and healing takes a bit. I mean, you know, geez, we're like 6 years out of it, and I'd say up until even a year ago, like things don't like make my stomach turn, you know? And the biggest thing through all that though was there was this peace, right? And the Bible tells us there's a peace that surpasses all understanding, and that's truly the best way I could describe it. Like I was sad, I had no plan B, I had lost a ton of friendships. I didn't know, like literally I didn't know I'd be moving to Pittsburgh, and like I had no like strong community yet, but I just had peace because I know what I know is that the Lord heard that prayer, and he gave me that prayer. Really, like I said, it was a true download. And I feel like all he needed was my submission, my my ability to say, because he's a good God, and we have free will, so we can decide if we want him to move or not. And I gave him permission that day, and because of that, I really feel like he picked me up what's the song? Turn me around and place my feet on solid ground. Like, truly, that's what it was.
Truly.
Now,
Truly.
did that come with a lot of pain? Of
Yeah.
course. But I think that we get ourselves, that was, if I had actually been living in God's will, none of that would have happened, right? But because I wanted to like step out and do what I wanted to do,
Right.
and then I'm asking God to bless what he absolutely was not sent from him, I caused my own turmoil. So I by no means put God in this box of like, how dare you, how could, you know what I mean? Like, those feelings, because we're human, may arise. But I truly did understand, like, okay, and I didn't condemn myself, but it was just like, you have to take ownership. I did this. I got myself in this boat, essentially, even though I didn't cause the pain around me. Like, God also, like in the book of Job, like, he allowed it. And I truly, again, there's so many more details to the story, but I do know for a fact the Lord totally was like, okay, well, in order for me to do with your life what I've willed for you, it cannot, and he literally changed geographically, demographically, I mean, everything you can change, he did, you know, but that comes with, there's a price to pay for that. And just, you know, through that heartache, it really started to like build this intimacy with him. He was he still is my best friend. And it was just like, that's how I felt. Like, I was living back with my parents, and I love my parents, but like, ideally you don't move back in with your parents when you're your mid-20s and you think you're in a, you know, your life's going one way.
Right, truly.
And I'm so grateful to them because they absolutely took me in with open arms. But, you know, all those times back in my childhood bedroom, like, you know, these things, like, I just shut in with the Lord for like the next 8 months. I mean, it was COVID right after that. So really there was nowhere to be. And then I ended up in Pittsburgh, and that's like a faith story too. And literally ever since then, like, the Lord has just been step by step giving me what I need, which is so cool. And I share that testimony a lot. Like, it's not this testimony of like when I found God, but goodness, it was like the first time I genuinely felt his hand like on my life. Like, what I want to do and what I can do cannot be done here. And now, 6 years later, I can look back and be like, you know what? If your heart's desire is to have a godly relationship and godly friendships and a career that brings God glory, you can have it. You can have it, right? But it takes our willingness to allow God to work the things that aren't supposed to be there. So we have to be willing to like release it and relinquish it, which is where I think a lot of us get stuck a lot. Me included. Still, even now. But when I talk about that story, I'm like, whoa, like, if I can get through that, right? And I know we all go through hard things, but in my world, that was the heaviest thing I walked through. Yeah. And if I
I mean, it was big.
Heavy.
Yeah, it was a lot. Like, we're laughing, but like, it wasn't funny. It wasn't funny.
It wasn't funny in the moment, but
don't worry, more of this conversation is to come. As always, I've put some goodies in the description for you, along with ways to get connected to everything that we've been up to. Remember, if he did it for someone else, he'll surely do it for us too. Thanks again for listening. I'm glad you're here, and talk to you soon. Have the best day. Hi, friends. Welcome back to the Finding Sunshine podcast. My eyeball is so itchy right now.
It's your eye. Do you mean to look at it?
Yeah, do you see anything?
No.
Sunshine.